Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dragon Duel, which is one of the many games you can play in the Book of Dragons. Now the Book of Dragons is a card game system that is language independent, colorblind friendly, and you can play 18 or more games from 16 or more designers. In Dragon Duel, it's a two-player game. It's a tactical card game that uses hand management, some area control, and a little bit of take that, and it's designed by Robert Burke. So I'm going to do a rule school. I'm going to give you a quick overview to give you some context, then I'm going to teach you how to set up and play the game rule for rule so that you don't have to read the rule book. So let's get going. Dragon Duel is a two-player game where you'll be playing cards from your hand and trying to win one of 3 different battlefields so you can collect those dragons. You'll be collecting those dragons and trying to be the first to get to 21 or to have the most when all the cards run out. Good dragons are more powerful, but each evil dragon gives you a unique special ability that's activated right when you play them. So let's see if you can out-duel your opponent with some tactics to win Dragon Duel. To set up, you'll first shuffle all 40 cards, and then you'll separate them out into 2 decks of 20 cards. Each player will take one of these 2 decks. Since each player's deck is already shuffled, they'll draw the top 5 cards, and they'll look at them, but they'll keep them secret from the other player. This is going to be their draw deck for the rest of the game, and this is their current hand. The game will utilize 3 battlefields, left, center, and right. You can just visualize those in your mind on the board, or you can put pencils or anything else you can find to separate out the battlefields, making sure that the cards fit within each of these battlefields. The object of the game is to be the first to collect 21 or more dragons in your win pile, or to have the most once the game runs out of cards. In Dragon Duel, we'll often be referring to the ranking chart of evil dragons and good dragons from lowest to highest. This is also in the rulebook that you'll want to keep handy. I'll put it up on the screen as much as I can, but you'll also want to have the one from the rulebook out for quick reference. The first player is the first player to state that they're the first player, otherwise the oldest player goes first. That first player in the first round will have 5 cards at the beginning. They'll place one of their cards face up on their side of one of the battlefields. Then the other player will be selecting from their first 5 cards and selecting one card to place up on any of the 3 battlefields. This will continue back and forth. Since all of you have 5 cards at the beginning, you'll be having less cards as you play. You do not draw any new cards throughout a round. Now you can play a card on any of the battlefields unless there's already 2 on your side. Like in this case, I could not play another card here. I would have to play it on one of these other 2 battlefields. At the end of the first round of play, it might look something like this. Both players will each always have 5 cards on their side with no more than 2 in any battlefield. Now when placing cards, the good dragons, which most of them face to the right, are more powerful than the evil dragons, but the evil dragons give you a special ability. Every time you play one of those cards, you'll immediately enact a special ability, which we'll go over later. When referring to the ranking chart, you'll notice all of the right-facing dragons are good dragons. The forest dragon is the only one that faces left, but is also good. All of the other left-facing dragons, as you can see, are evil dragons. Keep that in mind when you're playing the cards, and always remember to utilize the special ability of any evil dragon immediately when you play it. You then resolve the 3 battlefields, left, center, and right, from the first player's perspective to see who wins each of those battles. When resolving a battlefield, there's different conditions you might find. In this case, it's 1 dragon versus 1 dragon. In this case, the highest ranking good dragon would win. And so as you can see, Star is the highest ranking good dragon, so this player would win. Anytime you win a battlefield, that player will take all the cards, both yours and your opponent's, and place them in your win pile. Make sure you keep your win pile separate from your draw pile, and if you'd like, you could put them in rows of 5 to keep it easier to count your win total. If this 1 dragon versus 1 dragon were the battlefield, then this dragon would win because it's the highest ranking good, because this is an evil dragon, so this player would win it. If both single dragons were evil dragons, then the higher ranking one would win. In this case, Sun is higher than Ice. If it's a pair of dragons versus a single dragon, the pair always beats the single, even like in this case, the single dragon is the highest ranking good dragon. If it's a pair versus a pair, the strongest ranking identical good dragons would win. In this case, the pair of platinums. If there's no identical good dragons, then the highest ranking identical evil dragons would win, in this case the pair of suns. If neither pair have identical dragons, then you go to non-identical dragons. And if you have any two good dragons that are not identical, you look at the ones that have the highest ranking of the good dragons. This is the star dragon, and this is not even an identical pair of type, so this one would win. If there's no non-identical pair of good dragons, then you look for a non-identical pair of evil dragons, so this one would win. Note that even though this is not a pair because it has a good and an evil, this evil is actually stronger than this, but this would still win because it's a non-identical pair of evil dragons. If both pairs have one evil and one good dragon, then it's the pair that has the highest ranking good dragon, in this case, this one with the star dragon. If both pairs have both an evil and good dragon, but the good dragons are the same, then you go to the higher ranking evil dragon. In this case, this one would win because Hydra is the higher ranking evil dragon. If any two single dragons are the same rank, nobody wins this and you discard these cards out of the game. And if you have two identical pairs on each side of the battlefield, all four of those cards would also get discarded out of the game and nobody would win that battle. Now I've just shown you a lot of examples of the different things that might happen when resolving battlefields. Here is a good summary that you might want to pause while you're playing to leave it up for a reference. You can also reference the rulebook as well, but this shows you all the different examples that I gave you in one summary. If after resolving all three battlefields, the players still have cards in their draw pile, they would draw the next 5 cards for the next round, and the first player would alternate to the other player. If at any time one of the players has 21 or more dragons in their win pile, they immediately stop the game and have won it. Or if at the end of the round, neither player has any cards left in their draw pile, the one who has the most dragons at that point would be the winner. If it's tied at this point, then the one who has the most good dragons wins. If it's still tied, the one who has the most star dragon wins. If it's still tied, it's a tie. Remember, anytime you place an evil dragon, you'll take an immediate special ability. For the undead dragon, when you place this, you'll draw the top card off your deck, and then one of the cards from your hand you will decide to then shuffle back into your deck. If you have no cards in your deck, this special ability does nothing. When playing the shadow dragon, you can replace one of the dragons on your opponent's side with that shadow dragon. The card that you've replaced it with can go on any one of the 3 battlefields on your side, assuming you don't have 2 there already. When you place a Hydra, this Hydra becomes another Hydra on an adjacent battlefield on your side that only has 1 dragon. So the Hydra here is also a Hydra with this dragon right now. An Ice Dragon freezes out an opponent, which does not allow them to activate any abilities from evil dragons in this location. This even includes if that player were to play a Hydra, this would not activate, so they could not make this adjacent one an extra Hydra. If you play a Sun Dragon, you can go through your points pile and take out any one card and draw it into your hand. You would then discard any one card from your hand to your points pile. If you have no cards in your points pile when the Sun card is played, then nothing happens. There's a balanced variant where instead of shuffling the deck and dealing 20 random cards to each player, you can separate it out so that there are 2 dragons of each type in a set of cards. These cards would then all get shuffled and given to one player so that each player has 2 dragons of each type to start the game. Well, I hope this helped you dive right into Dragon Duel and get to the fun quicker than if you had to read the rulebook yourself. Now, if you have additional questions, I've placed a link in the description of this video just below me, and that's the best place to put your questions because not only will I see them, but so will the publisher and designer.